Yo, what's good? It's Jack from CPZ Recordings here. Hope you're all well. I've posted a couple recent videos, but this is the first time in a while that I've done a long form thought video. So welcome. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're old diehard fan of the CPZ, then welcome back. But basically for this one, I want to go old school, I want to talk about psychiatry, and basically, just like they say, oh, witches, they say, oh, the white witches and there's dark witches, like witches that do things to help the world and other people. Some witches do things to destroy other people in certain institutions, and the same can be said about psychiatry, but some people won't believe that because simply the majority of the psychiatry that's practiced today is dark psychiatry under the guise of help, you know what I'm saying? And basically, it comes down to the fact that without medication, they can't handle us, They already have a hard enough time monitoring us and experimenting on us and controlling us with the meds. So without the meds, like, how the fuck are we going to do this? Because if you look at the side effects of all antipsychotics, there's a couple that have some sort of contraindications, but basically a side effect is drowsiness, sleepiness, somnolence, dizziness, prolonged sleep disturbances. They say these are side effects, but these are the main effects that they're going for. They're trying to slow us down, you know what I'm saying? All the schizophrenics out there, they're trying to slow us up. But at the same time, they want us to be productive, They want us fueling their system. Because it's the schizophrenics, diagnosed or undiagnosed, unknown or known, that are making the art. You might be wondering, what's this got to do with art? Maybe you're just, maybe Jack from CPZ is just like self-centered, because he makes music. But that's the thing. I know you know what's going on. You watching this right now. And basically, that's the thing with the psychiatry, it's delusions. And they say it's our fault. There's something wrong with our brains that we're delusional. But really, goes back into other institutions, like media and education. And a lot of times when you look back at the old world orders of like rising hierarchical systems in countries or areas or citizenships, basically, if you study those civilizations, you can figure out what's going on here in modern day Western world. They try and say, oh, we've got a democracy here, and at school, they try and bash that into our brains that we're so lucky to live in a democracy. What is democracy? What is demon, cracy, aristocracy? It's a demonic system that targets people no matter where they come from. Everyone's a target. That's the thing. People seem to think that, like, oh, only a select few have been chosen for the program, but since about, as I say, it's happening for thousands of years, it's an old program, The whole thing about the New World Order is it's not that new. And basically you see it in slogans like "No Child Left Behind," and basically the whole population is put through programs. That's why we have TVs, that's why we have radios, that's why now in these days, why we have mobile phones, tablets, computers, laptops, gaming consoles, theatres. Why do you think these are all just for your convenience and your entertainment? Do you know what I mean? Because it's not that way. I'm not saying you should just like stop, because I'd lose my audience, you know, if people just stop using their phones. But you know, you gotta be careful what you're watching, you know. And basically that's got nothing to do with it. The fact is, the television becomes the babysitter, you know. But then people, that's been happening since about, when did TVs come out? That's the thing. They want us to think it's like within the last 100 years. But this technology has been employed, as I say, thousands of years. And basically you might be wondering, you said that everyone's been selected for the program. Anyone that's born is selected for the program of mind control. Are there any specific groups? Why do you think artist sounds like autist? Artistic, autistic. Do you know what I'm saying? Schizophrenic. Do you know what I'm saying? Basically goes into other diagnoses as well, because usually the people that are targeted heavily by psychiatry, because people go see psychiatrists or the GP all the time, and that's another part of the program. They go in and say, oh, I'm not performing at work, I feel really nervous, I'm not crying out when I go to bed, and the doctor says, I think you're depressed. Either you can refer you to a psychiatrist, which will be a 6 to 8 month wait, or but to keep you level, I'll prescribe you a antidepressant. Plus, you're lucky we've got a psychologist that works with us. Well, book you in with them, and that's another whole problem. But what I'm talking about is actual real psychiatric stuff, when they use people as guinea pigs, basically. But it doesn't end there. It's not just an experiment, because this game is operational. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, everyone's in the program, people get put on neuroleptics and antidepressants all the time. But there's a select few of us out there, the 1%. That's the thing, they say, oh, all the wealth in the world is owned by the 1%. Schizophrenics are 1% of the population. Is it that this 1% is different from each other on the opposite ends of the spectrum? I don't know. Or maybe it's more like a pyramid. The good, the bad, Masonic pyramid. Do you know what I'm saying? And basically that's how it goes. And my advice to anyone out there who's struggling, I'd say relax. Don't get hyped up. Listen to music, get hyped all you want, but don't, if you're really planning on doing something, make sure you do it right. But basically, my advice for myself is to chill. Just relax. Doesn't mean I'm walking around like people are using me as a doormat. You know, it's the exact opposite. They try it, but as I say, I chill out. Sometimes they push me to the point where like, people think they can talk shit to me all day, probably to you too. But anytime I come back at them, I'm like, whoa, that's too far. Because they can't handle it. That's why we're chosen. That's why we're the schizophrenics. And basically it goes into the whole Christ consciousness. Because that same 1% is connected to God. Why do you think they say we hear voices? If you're not hearing the voice of God, Jesus Christ, guess who you are hearing? The devil and his demons. So you better get right with God. That's what I'm saying. Believe that. I was going to end the video there, but I'll just say a goodbye, you know. I'll just say, as I say, if you're going to do something, do it right. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, you know, it just has to be right. And know that this is an all-encompassing program And people seem to think they have some sort of like free life, you know, like, cause, oh, I get to choose my job, I get to choose my house, I get to choose which way I go to work, I get to choose which pub I go to on Friday and Saturday, I get to choose my television programming, my video games, my music. I'm into music, so what? And basically the whole thing is that when you actually center yourself, and that's what I'm talking about, this Christ consciousness, you know what I'm saying? When you center yourself in the sight of God, you realize that the devil is set up in prison. The whole world is a penitentiary. The whole world is a ghetto. And that's facts. EAZY MAK, CPZ.